Hello everyone, it is I, everyone's favorite jack of all trades with a foul mouth, Commodore Urban. Thank you again for tuning back into another video. And you're probably wondering, you have a picture of the Andrea Doria, and you have another picture, what looks like to be a lady bleeding to death. What the fuck's that about? That's the personification of that. And I'm sorry I didn't have much, but I don't have any Andrea Doria artifacts. I've looked into buying some Andrea Doria stuff. For a fucking postcard, it's like $30, $40 fucking dollars, okay? There's no way in hell I can afford shit like a set of fucking deck plans. Like $200-300 for like a set of fold-out deck plans. I'm thinking that's fucking bullshit. But anyway, enough of that shit. I want to give a big shout out to all my viewers and all my fans. Thanks for joining me again. The reason why I have the Andrea Doria behind me, because we are finally doing a book review I've been wanting to do for a long time. I finally just got this book finished. I finally finished reading the fucking thing. And it is The Last Voyage of the Andrea Doria. The Sinking of the World's Most Glamorous Ship by Greg King and Penny Wilson. This is a very compelling book on the Doria. Basically what Greg King and Penny Wilson have done is they were able to go deeper into the story of the ship through several, survivors. Not just a couple, but a whole big group of survivors from different classes of the ship. And they retell the horrific, gruesome story of the ship, from the very pleasant beginnings of the voyage when she left Genoa, Italy, up until the final hours when, after 11 hours after being in a collision with the Swedish-American motor liner Stockholm, she, rolled over on her side and did a swan dive and sank. And oh fuck. This book is absolutely fucking gripping. And I'll read what the little thing here says here. The Andrea Doria was an iconic symbol of post-war luxury, glamour, and pride. Her tragic sinking marked the end of an era. In 1956, a stunned world watched as the famous Italian ocean liner Andrea Doria sank after being struck by a Swedish vessel off the coast of Nantucket. Unlike the tragedy of the Titanic, this sinking played out in real time across radios and televisions. The first disaster of the modern age. After the unthinkable collision and perilous hours of uncertainty and terror, the pride of the Italian fleet slipped beneath the Atlantic, taking some 50 lives with her. Her loss signaled the end of the golden age of ocean liner travel. Now, Greg King and Penny Wilson offer a fresh look at this legendary liner and her tragic fate, set out against a glorious backdrop of celebrity, travel, and a dolce vita. Andrea Doria's last voyage comes vividly to life in a narrative tightly focused on her passengers, including Cary Grant's wife, Philadelphia's flamboyant mayor, the heirs to the Marshall Field fortune, and many brave Italian immigrants who found themselves plunged into a desperate struggle to survive. The Last Voyage of the Andrea Doria brings the story up to date with the latest expedition to the wreck, drawing on the in-depth research, interviews with survivors, and never-before-seen photographs of the wreck as it is seen today. The Last Voyage of the Andrea Doria is a vibrant story of fatal errors, shattered lives, and the triumph of the human spirit. And by God, it sure is. I mean, when I first started reading, I know enough about the Doria because, like one of the first books I read that actually mentioned her was the book Ghost Liners by Robert Ballard. And it actually told the story of Linda Morgan, which Linda Morgan is one of the survivors that Greg King and Penny Wilson have interviewed. She's known as the Miracle Girl, and of course, how she, was asleep on the Doria, and then when she woke up, her legs were badly injured and her knees were broken, and she woke up, like I said, on the bow, the crushed bow of the Stockholm, which by itself is just a fucking just lucky. Well, it's not really lucky. It's, I believe, God was with her. God protected her through that terrible ordeal, and, of course, she lost her stepfather and her stepsister, which tragically was awful. A lot of people died. Not many people died, but the people that did die, it's still a tragedy. But the survivors that are, that they've interviewed are countless. Barbara Boggs, which she was the heir to Marshall Field fortune. She was on board with her husband and children. Joan and Celia Pick, Claus Dornick, Ruth Roman, if you know who she is a famous actress of the day. Young family, which Madge Young. Actually, I've actually talked to her before. Her name's not Young now; it's Madge something. I remember talking to her because I actually did something I was doing. She's actually a supporter of the United States Conservatives because she traveled on the United States several times, and I actually asked her questions about that because I was writing my book on the United States, and I never knew anything about her being Andrea Doria survivor. So wow, that's pretty neat. The Mastrocola family. I mean, there's just, like I said, all these different people that you see pictures in here of. They were all affected in one way or another. Some survived, some have perished. And the story I really thought was really sad was this one here of the Theodore family, which 13-year-old Peter and his, mother Frances and his father Ferdinand. This was the one that really got me just sickened, because they had separate cabins. He woke up in the ship, of course, was, at her list, and he remembered getting up and stuff, and, of course, there was water, and, smoke, and the mixture of, engine room oil and stuff, and he walked down to where his parents' cabin was at, but it was just decimated. His parents' cabin was right in the area where the Stockholm had, bashed, so they didn't make it. And it wasn't until an uncle of his actually said that his parents were gone that it didn't really sink in. I just thought to myself, oh my God, it's so fucking tragic. I mean, what Mr. King and Miss Wilson have done with this book, it literally grabs at you. I mean, it makes you think what it does about life and death. It ain't just a story about a famous passenger liner. This is a story of people's lives here. I mean, you have to think in the end, it's the people that make the story come to life. And I had to say, probably when I got done reading it, I just thought to myself, my God, why? Not because it's a bad book. It is a brilliantly written book. It really just makes you think about all the people that died and all the people that were traumatized by the whole ordeal. I know if it was me, if I was on the sloping deck of that ship, I would probably, But there's the Doria as she was back in her heyday. And this is a sonar scan of what she looks like now. Looks like shit. And there's actually something I want to read to you. And it actually makes very, very, very much sense. If I can find it. This is... But yeah, if I can fucking find it real quick. Alright, right here. Diving the Doria has always been perilous, but it's no longer safe to enter the majority of the remaining hull. From time to time, ominous, eerie crashes can still be heard coming from deep within the hull as the disintegration continues. It must be clearly understood that the Andrea Doria is no longer a ship, Gary Gentile wrote in 2005. It is very much a wreck, a sadly distorted caricature of her former self. No one knows how long she has left before the final collapse, but the Doria's fate is certain. Remaining steel will tumble into the sea, tearing the hull downward until it's flattened against the ocean floor. Everything will totter and fall into an incredible pile of rubbish. Steel and ravaged teak, bits of broken china and gleaming silver, pieces of tile and twisted electrical cables, barnacle-encrusted portholes and rusted beams from watertight bulkheads. The ocean will reclaim the wreck, reducing the once great Andrea Doria to a jumble of oxide at the bottom of the Atlantic. Yep, basically, yeah, the final resting place of one of the greatest ships of the post-war era, and it's been claimed that she was one of the greatest ships of the post-war era, and also the resting place of over 50 lives. So what do I think about this book? I think it's an absolutely must if you love ocean liners and you want a better understanding about this particular ocean liner, the last ship to sink, the last voyage of the Andrea Doria by Mr. King and Mrs. Wilson and Miss Wilson is a must for you. Fucking get this book. Fucking read this book. You will not be disappointed. I give this thing 10 out of 10, 5 star, 2 thumbs up. It is a must read. It is a must. If you want to learn about the Andrea Doria, read this fucking book. You will not be disappointed. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below and get back with me if you got any questions. If you're new to the channel and like the shit I'm doing, hit that subscribe button, push the notification bell, become part of the Commodore's crew and never miss a video. So until next time, this is Commodore Urban, sending smooth seas and clear skies, happy sailing with you. God bless you, stay healthy, stay safe, stay awesome, and be yourself. Take care, so long.